So at what point does Terror Squad decide to leave? Is that before the performance or after the performance that Tony Yayo and him?
I can't place any performance, but Fat Joe's first time he took the stage, 50 Cent did what I just described.
Right.
The second time Fat Joe popped up on the opposite end of the stage and said that police shit, when that stage went dark and somebody else started performing, us as Entourage could see directly across the arena the Terror Squad crew popped up and started making their exit through the hallways. We just mimicked their movements, and I remember asking the people with me, hey, y'all know how to get where they going? They like, yeah. So we get up and we do the same thing. But we have to move through the backstage to they're on the opposite side of the arena. So
right. So the performance had to be after Joe said that shit about the police then, because that's what made.
As soon as Fat Joe said that police shit, the stage went dark on him. Terror Squad got up to make their exit.
No, but I mean like later on in the show that 50 dissing him and calling him pussy and all that stuff, like during his performance, that performance had to be like later on in the show after Joe.
No, the performance was before, and I would imagine. And then I don't know. The performance didn't matter because when Fat Joe first took the stage of the night ever, it was kicked off. That's when 50 got up and mobbed across the stage. It almost, only thing could stand between them was a referee or the podium. So beside getting close enough to touch him, just imagine all the award show we've seen in our lives. We saw Will Smith do what he did.
Right.
50 did the Will Smith, but didn't touch Chris Rock. That's what he did.
So you guys are rushing backstage on opposite ends, right? It's not like the way that was described in the Book of Jose, where you guys had like a face-to-face face-off and then security got in the middle or anything like that.
No.
You guys are trying to get to this door. You follow them through the door, but then there's security or police back there. And they had already escaped at the time.
We're parallel moving in the same direction on opposite sides of the arena. Just hoping we're moving the same. We're hoping we're moving the same direction. That's when we encountered Beyonce holding her dress up, makeup. Like any other moment, would have probably tried to make it last a little longer, but I just remember going like, damn, that's Beyonce. People with headphones, escorting her. So as we're going that way backstage, we're just trusting, hoping, believing, thinking, knowing Terror Squad is doing the same thing. And we're trying to meet them and head them off. And the way it would have it, as we're going this way, they reached a point to be in our view before we got to the end of the hallway. And they went through a door. We watched them remember, they're coming, we going parallel. They must have been ahead of us because they got around the bend and got in our view and went through a door. But we're only 40 or 50 yards from that door. So we hurry up to follow them through the door.
Who's with you? Who's with you when you guys are going to chase them down?
The only person I'm willing to name is Mace.
Okay.
But I'm telling you, we're 2 rows of 10 to 12.
So you ain't got to say names, but it's Entourage with you, right?
Yeah, and the artists, Buck Banks, Yayo, anybody that was artists that wasn't 50 plus Entourage. I'll say that.
Gotcha.
But it was some names I remember, street niggas. I don't know what they doing now, what they up to that might not want to.
Right.
But shout out to all my real ones, Merrick Projects in particular. But anyway, we moving, and as we see them in our sight go through this door, now we become eager to get to that door. As we follow them through that door, we can see them exiting through a further door, which looks like a parking structure. And in between that door and us coming in that room, there are a number of officers just casually sitting there with their thumbs under their vest, leaning back. They don't overreact, probably 5 or 6 of them. And they just calmly tell us that wouldn't be a good idea. That wouldn't be smart. So, of course, we immediately exit. And we can see them fleeing through the door, getting in their vehicle, leaving. Not that they plan on the police being there. Not that I can imagine what they said as they went through the door based on the way the police reacted to us. But I don't know. I can't say that they knew the police were going to be there.
Is there any noticeable or notable Terror Squad members in that situation, or is it just mainly entourage?
I was, like I told you, I spent time being under Big Meech and BMF with DJ Khaled with a TS chain on, and I had no idea. DJ Khaled was not in there as the only TS member. Not that I would have tripped or anything. I just was that naive. So at that point, as far as Terror Squad, the only face I knew was Fat Joe. I don't know. It might have been Cuban Links. He's pretty active in discussing some of these incidents. It's pretty a big major incident. He can attest to whether or not he was there.
He wasn't there at the time because that was he stopped rocking with them like in 2001.
What about TA? Was TA there?
I don't know. He was not there at that time because he started rocking with TS like in 2006 or 8.
But you can tap in with MREC
right
and Murder Mace. I know Murder Mace, he gets bold and direct when he chooses. I'm not trying to pull nobody in on my plight.
Right.
But Murder Mace is someone that in my personal life, me talking to MREC, shout out to MREC TV.
Yeah, shout out to MREC.
I received confirmation from MREC that, yo, son, Mace told me you ain't told no lies. Everything you said was true. So I just utilized that bit of information because neither Mace nor MREC would deny that, whether they want to be upfront speaking on it. Even today in my live, I mentioned that, and MREC was in the chat confirming it.
Mm-hmm.
So, Mace is an individual that was there, but there were so many individuals there, like I said, at a high profile level that witnessed on the majority of what I discussed. It's like so hard for anyone to deny it.
So you also described the incident that you and Mace was running down on Joe in Miami, right? And he ran to the police. Can you describe that situation, like from the beginning? Like, where did you see him and you guys just casually bumped into him? Like, how did that situation happen?
No, Mace and myself were sitting next to each other throughout the whole award show. And when our entourages raised up to go pursue the opposite entourage, myself and Mace, from my recollection, just happened to be shoulder and shoulder throughout the whole pursuit.
Oh, so this is the same situation. This is not a different situation. Oh, okay, I got you.
Exactly.
I thought that this was like a different situation that happened that you ran into him.
And Mace was dressed to the nines like you would assume Mace would be. He had on a blazer that was yellow, quite opposite of what you would think an individual that would be the most active in a pack of wolves trying to get to a situation. But his actual activity defied his costume, all the shiny shit we ever seen him in. The Mace I happened to get acquainted with that day was different than how he presents himself so eloquently as a media personality.
Right.
He a regular, real one up under all that. Yeah, on my mama.
So what is 50 telling you throughout the Fat Joe beef? Is he like really
nothing direct.
Nothing.
The only thing he ever told me personally about a beef was just out of the game shit. And then when Snoop Dogg flipped on me, he told me, you ain't ready for that. It was kind of ironic that it was a you and not we. But other than that, the Fat Joe shit, he never addressed it as it regarded to me. And I have lyrics here and there back from the day where I mentioned Fat Joe just, in different random songs dissing him once he spoke on me. But he never gave any thoughts or direction about Fat Joe in particular. But he was so
that was the only time. That was the only time that you guys ran into him. No other incidents.
Like I say, I won't confirm or deny anything that TA has shared. I don't speak on certain incidents. But that is the incident that I am comfortable recalling in detail.